Okay, hello. Thank you, Håkan. And good evening, everyone. I didn't really catch what countries we have participating today. Um,
Uh,
did you have a list, Håkan?
yes, I have a list. It's China, Turkey, Uzbekistan. There is Sweden and Switzerland also, as I remember
Mm-hmm.
it.
Yeah, okay. So what we're gonna do right now, I'm just getting my things together. I hope you can see me here. That's me. Uh,
Yeah. Sorry, we
I'm
had a
doing.
guy from Costa Rica also. I
Oh,
learned. Nora Mahmoud.
from Costa Rica. Okay. Very much welcome, every one of you. This is where I'm sitting in my office back home, and the presentation I'm going to do today will be mostly about the method and the ideas behind the Young Masters Program on Sustainable Development. And at the end of the seminar, we will also have a look at some practical things that might be useful to know if you are a teacher and want to start a YMP group. So my name is Torvald Jacobsson. I'm the director of the Young Masters Program, and we're giving this webinar from a snowy Sweden, from Lund in southern Sweden. That is the university where the Young Masters Program on Sustainable Development was developed at this institute here called the IIIEE, the International Institute for Industrial Environmental Economics at Lund University. So that's where we are at. And if you have been looking around on the website, I guess you have seen the basics, how you get started. But anyway, I will just repeat how it works. If you are a teacher and you have a secondary high school student group, they could be between 16 and 18 years old. We have also a few students that are younger, a few students that are a bit older, but preferably they are around 17 years old, give or take a couple of years up and down. If you have a number of students that want to try the YMP, all it takes to get started is really a group of at least 3 students and a dedicated teacher. That's all you need. So you don't need to have an approval from the Ministry of Education or from the school authority or from even the school district or the headmaster. Yes, it could be a good idea to talk to the headmaster, but it's nothing we are asking for. All we ask for is a teacher with 3 willing students, and then you have the smallest unity that you need in order to get started with the YMP. So that's the smallest number you need. You could of course register your whole class and have many groups of students. If you have 40 students, you could have 10 or 15, 10 or 12 or 13 groups with 3 to 5 students in all of these groups. Or you could, if you're very ambitious, you could have 100 groups and 300 students and more rolled up for the YMP. It's really up to the individual teacher and the ambitions. There is no upper limit to how many groups you could have, but you need at least one group, and that group must be larger than 2 students. It must be 3 students at least, and it cannot be bigger than 5. And then what you do is that you register this group and you ask for a date when you want this group to start. And all this is very clearly described on the platform. It's very straightforward. You just follow the instructions and invite your students, and eventually you can form the group and then the group will be put in a pool of groups that are waiting for a global classroom. And when the day has come for this group to get started, we put the group in a global classroom. And a global classroom is a forum or meeting place where YMP student groups from all around the world are mixed in a way that as closely as possible resembles the distribution of people in the world. That is what the algorithm is trying to do. So we try to distribute participants from different continents, different countries all around the world, and get a really good mix of people in all of our global classrooms. So then you have a local group and you have a global forum on the internet. Then there are some things that are a bit different with the YMP compared to other e-learning schemes, and that is the most important difference, I think, is that most of the learning time, most of the time the learners are spending with this program is actually offline. It's not online in front of the computer. What we do, and that is that we give assignments, we give tasks to the students online, but to find out the things that we ask for and to bring in the reports to the global classroom that we also are asking the students to do. In order to do that, you need to do local research in the surroundings of your school and discuss and meet with local stakeholders and so. You need to do some footwork in your neighborhood, and that is
Torvald,
taking place offline. Yes?
we have a question here about the age
Yes?
of the groups.
Mm-hmm.
Could we take that now? It's just, what age do
Sure.
we see?
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, it's Katarina who asks simply, what should the age of the students be?
Oh, perhaps she stepped in right now. I said it just a couple of minutes ago, that the target group that we are thinking should be the perfect age for the YMP is someone that is 17 years old and in secondary high school. 17 years old, that's a good age because it's usually the second year of secondary high school. It's not the last year in secondary high school, so you're not interfering with the exams and things like that. Most of our students do take the YMP on the side of the regular schoolwork. We have also students that have local course plans and teachers that have translated the YMP activities into credits in the formal system. So, and those students, they do YMP as a part of their regular schoolwork, but most of our students do it on the side of the schoolwork, and for that the 17 years old are better off than the 18 years old. But we say that we're looking for students that are between 16 and 18, and then we have some students that are 15, and if they can cope with it and it's okay. And we might also have a couple of students that are a bit older, but we are not accepting schools for students that are university students, for instance. That's the rules of the game. We might have other courses in the future that are especially made for university students, but right now we don't have it.
Okay, thanks.
Okay. So most of the activities take place offline, and you do your research offline. And then we have spent lots of time in translating the feedback activities that we have been doing. We have been running this program for a very long time in a smaller scale at Lund University since 1999. So we have a lot of experience on how to interact with students and how to get them the interaction between different groups and how to get the insight and deep learning going. But in order to do that in the scale that we are operating now, we have spent quite some time with translating the feedback activities into a system where we use the learner community and the teacher community that we have among our users to distribute this work with feedback as much as possible. So feedback is provided and received by groups and teachers crosswise over nation boundaries and age boundaries in a very sophisticated system of peer review, and it's based on the experience that we have from the Institute in earlier years. And if you fulfill all your learning activities, at the end you receive a diploma, and that is also updated in real time. So as you progress through the course, you can see new items appear on your diploma, and at the end of the course you can also see your grade, and it's possible for you to print your diploma. For the higher grades of the diploma, it's necessary to do what we call a change project, and that is a project work where you spend 2 months with making use of all the skills and knowledge that you have gathered during the YMP course, and you try to find a little change project in your local community that contributes to sustainability in your neighborhood or in your city or your village, wherever you live. So for high grades on the project work, it should be something that is tangible, that has contributed to sustainability in the real world context. And we have examples of social entrepreneurships and other interesting projects. We'll talk more about it later during this presentation. But that is also something that opens up the world to our YMP participants, because we are quite often invited to UN conferences, partner events and other things, and we always seek to find participants among the groups that have done the most excellent project works when we try to find participants for those events. So this is a typical YMP session.
Torvald?
With 2 or 3, yes?
Oh, sorry to break in, but Vysal had a question from the other slide, which I don't 100% understand. So please, Vysal, you are online. Could you tell it directly to Torvald?
There was a question on this slide.
Yeah, no, on the former slide. The one you had before. Vysal, are you there? I unmuted you. Okay, so he seemed to have some trouble with the microphone. So what he's saying, Torvald, is, so how many courses will we have?
Okay, so basically after these courses we will just receive a diploma.
Yeah. After
Okay.
this course, you can print your diploma after this course. And
okay, thank you very much.
If there are other courses in the future, there will be other diplomas for those.
Okay, thank you for the information.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So this is a typical YMP session. Here we have 2 or perhaps more likely 3 YMP student groups and their teacher discussing a YMP mission. And as you can see, there is no computer around, they are outdoors, they are not in the school. This is not the typical setting for distance education. But this is how most of the time that you're doing the YMP is spent. you are doing research, you're doing field work, you are gathering information, and then you go back to, or you discuss issues in the classroom. So this is where you spend most of the time. It is not like this, which is the situation in most e-learning courses, that you are one-on-one, the student and the computer, and it's a very lonely lonely session here with all the classmates and the teacher. They are all behind the screen, so to say, and the student is on his own. And probably the teacher, the local teacher in this setting, is in the staff room having coffee. He's not interacting with the student at all. But in the YMP, we switch between offline sessions like this, where we do discuss and disseminate the results, and the discussions in global classrooms and findings in local research are discussed in real life with your teachers. Because the quality you have here is something that is really, really hard to replace with an e-learning, in an e-learning situation. There are so many it doesn't matter how many technological fixes you try to push in here with video chats and webinars like this one, or whatever you invent. You can never replace the possibility for interaction that you have in the local classroom. And actually, we think that it's a rather stupid idea that try to do that, as you do in very many e-learning courses today, that you try to replace this situation, this classroom, with a computer, because the lack of the loss of quality and interaction is so enormous. So what we think you should do instead is to add value to this situation. What can you do with a computer that adds value to the setting where you already have the students in the classroom? Because this is where we are. This is where we have the students today. And the answer is, of course, not to give the teacher an opportunity to have coffee in the staff room and replace him with a computer. The answer is, of course, to take the world into this classroom, to open the windows here to the world. And that is what we try to do. We try to help the students and the teacher to come out of the box, the limitations of the local classroom. Because even if you have excellent interaction and social interaction between the participants in the local classroom, you still have the limitation in geography and space, the fact that you are somewhere in the world, and that is a limited perspective. And what you can get through the computer is, of course, access to the rest of the world. And that is what you really want to bring to these people. So that is what we try to do, but not replace the teacher. Instead, we want the teacher and the students from different backgrounds, different parts of the world, from the east, from the west, from the south and the north, from rich areas and poor areas, from rural settings and big cities, to come together in a global classroom and meet with each other, teachers and students. And then what we do, the YMP method, or the pedagogical approach of the YMP, is very, very simple. It's really straightforward. We give them all the same assignment. We describe a general problem or a solution, and it's the same assignment given to all these different students. And then, and this is how we do it. We have this course. This is a screen dump from the website, where you read first a background text. You can see the green arrows here. First you read the background text. This is the background text. You step through it with the arrows down here. And then you go offline. And offline, that is when you are doing what they did here, doing research and field work. that is offline activities. And then you post your report to the global classroom and verify. That is just the last step, where you verify that you accept the report and really want to post it, because afterwards you can't change it. Then it's going for grading and feedback and so that's like the last step. Then are you really sure that you want to post it, that it's perfect? Because you also do it on behalf of your group mates, so it's really necessary to check the posting before you send it. So we give them the same assignment. It looks like this, and then they are off to their local environments to try to find out. And we use this method. In the first part of the course, we talk about challenges and problems, environmental problems, social problems, economical challenges connected to sustainability. And the students are asked, basically, if you can see any traces of these problems or these challenges where you live, and how if you talk to your grandparents or other elderly people and they compare what has happened in the last 50 years or so, what is the change, and are there any trends so that are connected to the problem we are discussing right now. But we also do the same thing with solutions. So we give the students a number of solutions that are in function and are working around the world today. And we ask them, is this solution used in your city? And if it isn't used, why do you how could that be? What do you think need to be changed in order to use this solution in the future? And that makes the students think. They start to reflect upon their local circumstances in a way that they might not have done before. They realize that some of the things that you think are given, that a waste management system must work in a certain way, it mustn't necessarily be so, because in another part of the world they have a completely different system, and it works perhaps even better. And then the question is, of course, how could we adapt that system in our society or in our community, and what changes needs to get in place. So you compare perspectives and you realize that there are differences and similarities around the world. I mean, similarities are also interesting. If you see that the same problem exists all over the world. For instance, one thing that usually comes up when you discuss sustainable city, urban sustainability issues is car traffic, and the problems are really the same all over the world, at least in the bigger cities all over the world. So students have similar stories, no matter if they come from Southern Africa, from South America, or from megacities in Asia. It is the same. The problems are the same. So similarities could also be really interesting because you can spot trends. But what is a strong quality with this pedagogical approach and with this way of learning is that the messenger here is not a textbook. It is not a teacher telling the students that there are similar problems in other parts of the world, or the situation is completely different in Africa. It is actually users that are the same age as you, that have done the same assignment that you have, that are bringing in the message. And that's a strong experience for our students. It creates another type of understanding, another deeper understanding of the issues that we discuss. They are not only numbers, it's not only abstract problems, it is something that comes from reality, and there are eyewitnesses that are talking about it in real time. And this is what the setting for that discussion looks like. This is a global classroom, and here you can see on the little map, you can see from the countries from where students come from. You can see a few members here, from random members from around the world, and you can see the storyboard of the classroom. And here you have assignments that are posted, but also an ongoing discussion, like the one I mentioned. And down here you can see the classroom schedule, and that is basically the missions that you have to, the tasks, or the small assignments that you have to do, and what date you need to have them done. And up here you can see that we also have game parts of elements from gaming here. There are a credit counter up here, and there is also an award system. I think if we could, let's see if we can switch to, I need to log in here. I just wanted to show you this on the live website, because it's one thing to show screen dumps, but another thing to see it live. So I'm logging in here as admin, and if we go into a classroom here, you can see exactly the things I talked about. Here you can see the assignments, and we can go in and watch the assignment reports here in pop-up windows. We can also see the grading. Some of them received rather poor grading, others have received the better grading, and you can have a view at the assignment as they are posted here in the classroom. And what's also interesting here is, of course, that what I wanted to show you is the credit counter. That is not so necessarily interesting for the teacher, but I can, as a teacher, I also have the possibility to see not only the chapter I'm working with right now, but I can also see all the chapters that will follow eventually. We will talk more about this later. But here you can also see the award system that I wanted to show you. So for some of the credits that you get here, you can also get an award, and you can get a member. If you get our member of the website among the first 5,000, you can get a certain award. And if you comment a lot, interact a lot, make lots of international friends, you can get other awards. So there are, we try to use this credit system to encourage our users to behave in the way that we want them to behave. And that means that it is not only a social forum or a social network or a social learning platform, it's also a competition. So the contributions from participants are graded, they are compared, the reports and the project works are compared and graded by teachers and other groups. And that means that the students, they see what it takes to get a higher grade, and they conceive the most excellent project works in the project gallery and so on. So they know what they need to do in order to overtrump or get level with the best missions that have been presented by other groups. So there is a competitive element to it also, and we know that it is working because students are really chasing these credits all over the world, especially in Asia. It's a really strong motivator for the students. And of course, we are using this motivation system to promote the behavior that we want to see on the platform. We are not using it just for competition, for the sake of it. We are promoting collaboration, contributions to the platform, to the common good of the platform. So the more you contribute, the more you interact, and the more you give to the surrounding community of learners, the higher credits you will get.
Torvald?
So that is, yes?
We have one more question from Vishal here. So I will unmute him. So please, Vishal, take your question with Torvald directly. Vishal?
Hi, Vishal.
Hello.
Are you there in Azerbaijan? Yeah.
Yes,
you had a
it
question.
gave me. Yeah, sorry for more questions, but just I want to ask. I mean, if I get you right, so if we have more credits, then the awards are more higher.
Yeah. Actually, to be exact here, the award system and the credit system are not directly the same. Awards are given for certain things that you achieve. For instance, if you have commented on 100 stories, you can get a certain award for that. Credits that is a system that is running all through the course, and once you have finished the course, you will end up with something like 35,000 credits or something like that. That is the value of your participation in the YMP. But awards are more highlights, milestones, things that you have achieved, and what we do with the award is that you have a possibility also to share a story or an achievement to social networks. So you can share from this classroom your achievements with your friends and your family to your social networks that you are using. It doesn't work the other way around, though. You cannot post from Facebook or from Orkut or from RenRen into the classroom, because we want to be focused here. But if you have made an achievement, if you have fulfilled, for instance, the first part of the course and you have received an award for that, it is possible for you to share that award with a wider community. So it is two motivating systems. Some of the things that gives you credit will also give you an award. That's
okay, thank you very much. Thank you.
Okay. The other dimension that you need to add to the description here is the pedagogical learning curve. So we start with rather easy descriptions of problems and challenges, and then we add complexity as we go through the course. So if we start with really basic things, this is how an ecosystem functions, this is the ecosystem services that we depend upon, this is why we need energy and things like that. At the end of the course, we are discussing global environmental or sustainability negotiations on biodiversity or climate change or things like that. So in a political sense, where you have all the stakeholders in society involved, the private side and politicians and media and how they all interact. So we add complexity as we move through the course. And what we what we do bring into the local classroom is, of course, a variety of perspectives. Because, for instance, in this class, you might have, here is one YMP student group, these 3 guys, and these 4, there might be another YMP student group, and here you have a 3rd YMP student group. And they are placed in different global classrooms, all of these. So they have perhaps been in one global classroom, and this student group was in another global classroom, and the 3 over here were in a 3rd global classroom. And 3 global classrooms means that if you have 100 or 120 students in a global classroom, means that in this local classroom, they have interacted with something like 3 or 350 international students. So that's a rather big window to the world for this little group. They have lots of perspectives from many different parts of the world. And that is the way the method is built up. You form a local group and you do that offline. And then you go to the global classroom and you get your first mission, and that is done online on the platform. But in order to solve the first mission, you need to do research, and you do that offline, and you need to prepare your assignment, your report back to the global classroom. That is also something that you do offline. Then you post it to the global classroom, and you get the next mission, mission 2. And mission 2 asks you again to do offline research and prepare your report back to the global forum is also something that you do offline. You post it to the online forum and you get the 3rd mission, and so it goes on and on. And as you progress, the complexities of the issues discussed is growing all the time. Sustainability, especially global sustainability, is very, very much about handling complexity and a multitude of perspectives. Social perspectives and ecological perspectives and economical perspectives, yes, that is one thing. But then you also have, in the global context, the different cultural backgrounds and the lack of understanding between perspectives from south and north and so on. And frankly, that is the problem the world is struggling with today on the top political arena. That is really the thing that is needed, the possibility to share perspectives from south and north and rural and urban and so on. So we try to implement that at a very early age and make the students understand how complicated the world is, but also interesting. And this is fascinating because the students realize that they are discussing exactly the same big issues that are discussed in the world news every day, and they understand much more about the world. Another thing that I want to say about this picture before we leave it is that, and that is a core element of the YMP method, all these arrows, they represent a unique story. When you form your local group, say that you have formed a local group in Zambia, and you go to your global classroom. In this global classroom, you might be, or very likely, or will be, the only group from Zambia. So your story is absolutely necessary to be submitted to this global classroom. Without you, there will be no voice from Zambia. So your story is needed. Your perspective is needed. You are the only expert on the local circumstances in your village or your city in Zambia in the whole global classroom. So your story means a difference. And the same thing goes when you come back to your local classroom in Zambia from your session in the global classroom. All of the groups have been in different global classrooms. So your story is different from the others, and you have something to contribute. So the arrow here of your story is necessary also for for the dissemination with your teacher and your classmates in the local classroom. And so it goes. But I think that is the reason, I think, why students and teachers are so engaged when they are working with the YMP, is the fact that their stories are needed at every step of the education. And then at the end of the education, we ask the students to use the skills and the insights and the methods they've learned in a change project or a project work. And that is the final mission of the education, and it's not compulsory, but most of our students do fulfill the project work. It is also necessary if you are aiming for the higher grades in the diploma. You must do a project work. Otherwise, you can get a pass or a high pass with just taking the basic course. But if you are going for the grades with honor, you must do a change project, and it should be good also if you want to be up there with the top the front runners of the YMP. So we try to combine education and learning with the network and meaningful context that comes with being part of something that is bigger than yourself. See all the project works that are taking place all around the world is something that makes you understand that yes, the planet is a complex system, and there are changes in the planetary system that are complicated and difficult to manage. But on the other hand, society is also a complex system, and if you can see that lots of people are doing the same thing that you do, it is you can see that it makes a difference, even if it's small compared to the global challenges. Taken together, it could really be a meaningful force, counter force. And that is something that also I think many teachers appreciate, because it is difficult for teachers all around the world to teach in a subject like sustainability, not only because it's complex and bridge over so many different fields, but also because the challenges are huge, and the things that you can do as an individual anywhere in the world are really tiny compared to these challenges. But if you are many small actors that are doing something simultaneously and orchestrated around the world, a part of that hopelessness disappears and is replaced with a feeling that you are a part of something bigger than yourself, and that is really inspirational.
Torvald.
Yeah.
It's a new question here from Dina Karam. Dina, you are unmuted. Please put your question to Torvald.
Hi, Dina.
Dina? Okay, so maybe some trouble with microphone.
Perhaps you don't have a microphone.
Yeah, so I will tell you the question.
Yeah.
At the end of the course, is there any exam to pass?
Exam?
Yeah.
No, there is no formal exam. There is no like that you sit down with a time, with a clock, and fulfill a number of questions over time. You are graded all through the course, so everything you do is graded from the first mission to the last. So based on what you have done during the whole course, the sum of your gradings through the course, that is your final result. So we don't have a final exam. You're graded all through the course. That is the answer to that question. Yeah, and of course also, if I continue here, another important feature here is that we try to connect learning with action, and that you get also feedback on the actions immediately from other groups and from other learners and teachers. And then the thing I mentioned before, that we connect developing and industrialized countries, and you have a diversity of cultures, backgrounds, and educations, and that really brings inspiration and flavor to the sustainability teaching in any classroom in the world. I also think that we are doing something important if you look at how internet is developing right now, to something that is more and more individually adapted to your beliefs or your preferences. You know, if you search on Google, if I search a certain word on Google and Håkan is doing the same, we will not get the same results, because based on what we have searched before in Google, Google tries to estimate what kind of result we would like to have and present that to us. And the same thing is, of course, with Facebook. You select a number of people that you already know and have been interacting with, and they are in a way representing the world around you. And in many ways, it's a biased community you're working with, so you confirm your beliefs and you are not challenging your perspectives very much. And you could go on with examples on Amazon. If you buy one book, Amazon will continue to suggest similar books to you, because they think that if you liked this cookbook, you will like all cookbooks in the world, and so on. And taken together, we call this the filter bubble. It is something. It is a growing problem on the internet. It is something that is supposedly a good thing, that these services are adapted to our preferences, but taken together, it means that the world is narrowing in upon us, and more makes us believe that all the things all the preferences we have, all the ideas we have, they are confirmed when we are stepping into social networks and search engines and so on. And that is very much in opposition to what you want to do with education. That is to widen perspectives, and it's also very much in opposition to what you for just a couple of years thought would be the promising development with the internet, that it should open up the world for so many more people. So what we try to do with the YMP is that we use some of the features for social networking and the modern web, so to say, but we use it to break the filter bubble, to make our students and teachers to meet with people that they should never have met with before in another way, through the social networks, the way they work today. So we bring in perspectives that you wouldn't find in another way, and we also make people interact that shouldn't have been interacting otherwise. And we help our learners and teachers to widen their perspectives and questioning, challenging some of the beliefs that you might have in the local context. So that is one dimension that I think is worth mentioning. And if you haven't read this book, I think you should do it, because for any teacher, or it is necessary reading when you are thinking about how to use some of the tools that you can find on the internet today, because they are not really suited for education, some of them. They are actually working in the wrong direction compared to many of the things that you want to do when you educate people. So I want to take a few minutes here also to have a look at some of the features on the website. I just wanted to show you the teacher tools. You find them here when you're logged in as a teacher in the top menu. And the teacher guide here, I mentioned before that one thing you can do here is that you can read all the texts beforehand. So you have access to all chapters. You don't have to unlock them one by one as the students have. So you can step directly to Actors in Society, for instance, mission number 9, and read that before the students arrive here. So you have an information advantage as a teacher. You have also the possibility to download learning teacher guides for all the learning missions, where you have lots of suggestions for questions and dissemination and activities and links and so you can give more flesh to the bones for your students when you have your local activities. And then down here you have a number of teacher videos showing some of the things that you can do when you want to manage your groups. For instance, if you want to add a student to a student group, you could click that, and there is a small video showing exactly how you do that. So and most of the questions you will have as a teacher on the platform are given, the answers are found here at the teacher tools section in your teacher tools menu on the website. So here it is very straightforward. You click the add student, and then you can just drag and drop the student to one of the free slots in that group as you submit it, and then you have added a student to that group. And you have similar videos for very many things here. There's also a help section here where you can find answers to most of the common questions that teachers are asking us, or also students are asking us. And there is
Torvald,
yeah.
There is a question here. Everything is fine. They want to get started. So what should they do? What are they doing?
Yeah. Okay. So if you want to get started, what you do is, if you go to, this is what it looks like when you come to the website. First of all, you just click the Join Now button here, and then you enter your email like that, and you repeat it. And then you have a captcha here. And you have to agree to the service privacy policy. And then you go to the next step. And what happens next is that you get an email with an activation link. So now hopefully I have received this email. So here I have received this email. You can see activate your account. You're just one click away from becoming a member. You can log in by clicking this link or by copying and pasting the link at the end of this message. So I can either copy this long link and put it in my browser, or I can just click on this one. And then I will go to a page that looks like this, where I need to put up a password, and that must consist of at least 6 characters, and it must be digits and at least one uppercase letter. So for instance, I can and then I'm in. So now I've earned my first credits just by signing up, and then you can start my first mission. And the first mission I start here is to set up my profile. So it's basically to give my name and some personal information, and you step through it with the next button, and you put up your birth date, and you continue like this. So for instance, my city is Malmö, so here Malmö, Skåne, Sweden. But if it was, all cities are here, so if it was Barcelona, I could search for Barcelona, Catalonia, Spain. So, and then I upload my picture as the last step. You can choose an avatar, or I could choose a picture from my computer. This is like any site. And then when I'm done, I've set up my profile and earned another 100 credits. And then the next mission is about exploring the platform, and here step by step you go through all the functions here, and the icons are appearing one by one, and you click the icon, and once you have clicked the icon, you'll see little information about it. And when you have clicked all of the icons, the little course on the platform is ready. And then you come to the next mission, which is about the YMP, where you select that you want to be a teacher, and then you look for your school, and you fill in the first you try to find your school. If your school is not in the system, you can fill in address and so on for the school. And after this step, you have finished the teacher application, and then we will check your school, and you will be accepted as a teacher. So it's very straightforward. It's really simple, and instructions are given all the way, and you do it step by step, exactly as I showed you here. So it's really simple. Any questions?
No, not as I see it. No.
Good.
So it's 6:04. Are you finished, Torvald?
Yeah, I'm finished.